The first crack in our new life came at dawn, the sun barely up, when an email pinged Marcus's phone. Violation notice, $500. The late spring sun filtered through the mature oaks lining Willowbrook Boulevard as Marcus Hale pulled his station wagon into the circular drive of 27 Cedar Point Lane. Beside him, his 14-year-old daughter, Lily, pressed her forehead against the window, tracing the curve of the 6-acre lake that relaxed against the neighborhood's manicured lawns. "Here we are," Marcus said, voice warm. "Our new home." Lily turned, a tentative smile forming. "It's beautiful." 2 months earlier, they'd watched Lily's mother, Elise, slip away after a year-long battle with cancer. Overwhelmed by the silence of their old house and Lily's unending questions, Marcus had scanned listings for any property that promised tranquility. When he stumbled on Cedar Point Estates, a gated enclave centered around a pristine lake, he'd thought they'd found their sanctuary. Their realtor, Amanda Chen, had extolled the perks. "Swim, kayak, fish, it's all part of the HOA perks," she'd said, handing over a glossy brochure. She'd demurred slightly when describing the homeowners association, but Marcus shrugged it off. He'd negotiated complex deals in his 15-year career in venture capital. Dealing with a neighborhood board felt trivial. Now, as Lily bounced down the stone steps and placed her rod beside the dock, Marcus felt a flicker of hope. "First catch of the day?" he asked. Lily's grin broadened. "I think I see some bluegill near the reeds." They clipped lines, baited hooks, and settled at the dock's edge. The lake's glassy surface whispered promise. For the first time since Elise's funeral, Lily's laughter rang out, soft but genuine, as a bright fish glinted beneath the water. "Dad, look." Before Marcus could congratulate her, a brisk voice cut through the morning stillness. "Excuse me." They turned to see a tall woman striding toward them, sharp-eyebrowed, expensive bag in hand, hair coiffed into an imperious bob. A gold-rimmed tablet glowed in her other hand. "State your names, please." Her tone brooked no answer. Lily froze. Marcus rose. "I'm Marcus Hale, this is my daughter Lily. We moved in 2 months ago. Fishing is prohibited," the woman snapped. "This community lake is for decorative and passive recreation only. Regulations were amended 4 weeks ago. Violation incurs a $500 fine." The woman flipped her tablet toward him, a dated doc titled, "Amendment to Cedar Point Lake Use." Marcus steadied his voice. "Our realtor assured us fishing was an amenity. We never saw any notice about a ban." "Not my fault if you missed the HOA email," she said loftily. "Check your spam." The humiliation cracked Lily's composure. Tears welled in her eyes. Marcus placed a steady hand on her shoulder. "We'll comply." She watched them pack rods in silence, her lips curled in triumph. As she swept away, Marcus caught the woman's name on her business card holder, Patricia Langley, board president. Lily sniffed. She was so mean. He hugged her close. Some people love rules more than they love kindness. "Let's go home." But sleep eluded him that night. He scoured his inbox and spam folder. No HOA emails. He prowled the community website, nothing about fishing restrictions. Something didn't add up. By dawn's first light, Marcus was at his laptop. He discovered that Patricia Langley, owner of Langley Lux Realty, had chaired the HOA for nearly a decade. Scrolling through community board minutes, he saw her fingerprints everywhere. Strict enforcement of petty rules, surprise inspections, sudden fines. Next, he found a Facebook group called Friends of Patricia, filled with glossy party photos of Patricia and her inner circle sipping champagne by the very lake where she'd find him. No mention of environmental concerns. He jotted notes and drove to his neighbor's house, doorbell at 9 a.m., and knocked. An elderly man answered, cane in hand. Graying hair, a gentle face. "Marcus? I'm Walter Hayes." Over coffee, Marcus explained. Walter's brows furrowed. "Patricia's been padding the HOA coffers with fines for years. Most residents just pay and get bullied into silence." Marcus leaned forward. "Is there anyone else I should talk to?" Walter whispered of 2 more neighbors, Dolores Ruiz, a nurse who'd been fined for excessive holiday decorations, and Gary Patel, a teacher cited for unauthorized landscaping. They'd all paid up rather than face Patricia's wrath. That afternoon, Marcus convened an impromptu meeting at Dolores's garage. Dolores recounted how Patricia had closed the pool to children of color for noise complaints, then reopened it for her own grandchildren. Gary pulled out spreadsheets showing housing sales, properties hit with fines often sold below market, then snapped up by shell companies tied to Langley Lux. They found a record. The lake itself was owned not by the HOA but by Meridian developers, under lease to the HOA through next month. Once the lease expired, Meridian could sell to anyone. Rumor had it Meridian was strapped for cash and eager to liquidate this asset. Patricia had quietly bought dozens of lakeside lots through LLCs, Cedar Shores Holdings, Maple Leaf Ventures, Langley Discoveries, all pointing back to her. This fishing ban, Dolores realized, was step one in restricting lake access before she strikes her own deal. Marcus's mind raced. If I can buy the lease or purchase the lake outright with an all-cash offer, I could block her. They reached out to Gary's old banking contacts, confirming Meridian's financial crisis. Negotiations on the lake were behind closed doors, but whispers of Patricia's deadlocked financing surfaced. She'd offered Meridian $300,000 over 18 months. Meridian needed cash now. Meanwhile, Patricia ratcheted up pressure on Marcus. He discovered new violation notices tacked to his garage. Mailbox height, weeds, paint shades. Lily came home in tears twice more, bullied at school. The fines began piling up, another $2,000. But the coalition grew. Walter hosted weekend meetups. Dolores circulated encrypted group texts. Gary mapped out HOA irregularities. Over 9 homes joined. Marcus drafted a plan. Wait until Patricia publicly unveiled a lake vision, with special assessments to fund dock expansions. When she'd sunk significant political capital and HOA member trust into her scheme, he'd swoop in with his cash offer and change the game. Timing, Marcus told them, will be everything. Within days, Patricia announced an emergency HOA meeting, complete with renderings of a members-only lakeside lounge and proposed special assessments, $50 per household monthly. Flyers touted, elevating Cedar Point, a visionary lakeside experience. Marcus sat in the back row, Lily by his side, as Patricia dazzled neighbors with slides of poolside cabanas, private beaches, and candlelit wine bars, all under Langley Lux's design. Beside him, Walter clutched a folder. The unexpired lease, evidence of selective enforcement, spoiled water quality reports showing algae growth from overuse of lawn chemicals. When Patricia concluded, applause erupted. Marcus waited for key moment. Her revelation of the non-binding, unanimous support she'd claimed in board minutes. He stood. Patricia, he said, voice calm but firm, your plan sounds impressive, until you consider that you don't own the lake. Murmurs rippled. Patricia paused mid-smile. I have here the signed deed, effective this morning, transferring 100% of the lake property to my newly formed Cedar Haven Trust, funded by an all-cash offer of $350,000. Gasps. Patricia's lips drew tight. I also have early termination of the recreational lease clause, citing multiple maintenance violations, your own HOA's neglect of water quality standards. She opened her mouth, but before she could speak, Marcus raised his hand. Please, everyone, respect these documents, he said, displaying them. I know you trusted Patricia's assurances. I trusted them too, until they hurt my daughter. He gestured to Lily, tears in her eyes but proud. No one should wield power like that. Within a tense minute, murmurs turned to questioning cries. What does this mean for us? Is this legal? Did she lie to us? A local officer, introduced discreetly earlier by Marcus's friend Gary Patel, stepped forward. Legally, the deed is valid. These residents have 15 minutes to vacate the property. The room emptied in stunned silence. Patricia stalked out last, jaw clenched. In the week that followed, Marcus installed no trespass signs, arranged for environmental experts to test the lake's health, and consulted with conservation groups to draft a stewardship plan. Word leaked that Patricia had tried to sue, but her case collapsed under clear title records. At a press gathering by the lakeside, Marcus announced the formation of the Cedar Point Community Trust, with 3 binding conditions: a democratically elected HOA board, term limits for officers, and an independent ethics council. He unveiled Lily's Junior Anglers program, offering free fishing lessons and ecology workshops for neighborhood children, except for immediate family members of the old HOA leadership, pending their resignation. Public sentiment shifted overnight. Homeowners who had cheered Patricia's vision now whispered regrets. Veronica Miles, once a fervent defender of the old board, resigned from her HOA seat and joined the trust's advisory committee. Patricia, meanwhile, faced mounting investigations. Neighbors filed complaints over her selective enforcement and misuse of HOA funds. Local authorities charged her with trespassing and attempted environmental contamination after security footage showed her dumping substances into the water to fuel her pollution narrative. As houses once under Patricia's thumb elected new board members, the community tearfully voted to rename the body of water Elise's Lake, in honor of Lily's mother. At the dedication ceremony, Lily cut the ribbon, her smile radiant. A month later, Marcus convened a community town hall in the newly refashioned Lakeside Pavilion. Walter Hayes, Dolores Ruiz, Gary Patel, and dozens of residents applauded the transformation. A lake fully accessible to families, a restored ecosystem, and transparent governance. "Never underestimate the power of people who know the rules," Marcus told the crowd, "and have the courage to change them." That summer afternoon, Elise's lake shimmered under drifting clouds as children cast lines and learned to identify native fish species. Lily, standing beside her dad, trailed her fishing rod in the water, laughter echoing across the cove. Marcus watched them, heart full. "Mom would be proud," Lily whispered. He wrapped an arm around her. "She already is."